Hello and welcome to another Godfather Minute. I am Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And dig this. This is a podcast where we're watching the whole movie of The Godfather, but every episode we talk about 1 minute of it.
Alex, get to the point, would you? Enough of this ribboning around. The comedy you'll do with those young girls.
As you can see from our excellent impression work, we do a lot of Brando on this show.
What I need to know is, how did you actually get Marlon Brando to be on the show today, Alex?
It wasn't cheap. You know, I think he got like $1 million a minute for being in Superman.
Really? No, I didn't get that much, Alex. And by the way, did you hear your brother Andy Robinson called in sick today? But he's a good kid.
Well, thanks for filling in as a substitute there.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha. I'm Andy.
I can't believe you went through the trouble of putting on elaborate Marlon Brando makeup just for that one little thing.
I did. That's how committed I am. I was in makeup for 4 hours.
Whoa, take the toilet paper out of your mouth.
That was just the toilet paper in my mouth stage. It took 4 hours to do that. That's how much toilet paper. I'm still taking it out.
Real potty mouth. Anyway, so yes, this is the Godfather Minute. And today we are discussing minute 42 of the Godfather Minute of the Godfather.
Alex, it's time for your Italian lesson. Are you ready?
Ciao.
Are you ready?
Yes.
It is minute
Minuto
42.
42. Am I saying it right?
Excellent.
42.
Oh, sorry. I was in reverse Google Translate mode.
42.
It is 40.
40.
42.
42.
Yeah, great.
Oh, I've been in Europe for a week, as you know, so I've picked up good accent work.
I was just going to say
42.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Now, is now the time to talk a little bit about your trip?
Yeah, it's not really much to talk about. It was certainly nothing Godfather related that I can think of.
I find it really odd that you would go to Europe less than 48 hours after meeting with the Turk.
Well, you know, the papers would love a story like that, I bet.
I mean, you learned less than 48 hours ago that he's got the poppies in Turkey. He's got the processing plants in
Italy. Good with a knife.
Italy. He's very good with a knife.
Well, let's talk about minute 42 of The Godfather. What do you say?
Let's do it.
So minute 42, it starts off with our old friend Luca Brasi getting ready for his big date with the Turk and the Turk and the Tatalias. It's my new band, the Turk and the Tatalias.
Hello, my baby.
So, we see Luca, the tail end of him getting ready. We discussed it a bit last week. Something I did not mention last week that I was reading through the book, The Annotated Godfather, the complete screenplay, and they have a note from Coppola. He directed the movie. And, there's that scene. In this scene, you see him taking out his gun and, doing the thing where he classic spins the chambers, and you see him putting on the bulletproof vest, and Coppola was saying that was a great misdirection, because you assume that somehow because you see him putting on the vest, you assume that that's somehow going to come into play in the story. And then, of course, he does not come into play.
Yeah. But, I think the Turk and his cronies probably saw that coming.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, I've been saving up for a long time a lot of information from the book about Luca Brasi, because he's really only been in it for about a minute during the wedding scene.
Don Corleone.
I always forget the name of the director. I keep saying Scorsese.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Don Ford Coppola. Why do you not put me in the movie as much as James Caan and Paulie?
Do you think you auditioned for the other roles? Like, do you audition to play Sonny or anything?
I think he auditioned to be Carlo.
Oh, you think so? So that would have been funny. See, Jimmy Conn beating up. Anyway, so what is so you're saying you've been saving up a lot of information about Luca Brasi? Is this from the novel?
Just from the novel, yeah. The Godfather by Mario Puzo. Mm-hmm. And it's a great book. I'm really enjoying reading it and comparing it with the movie. Page 24. This just in.
Wait, is it really page 24?
Well, I'm past page 24, but this is where Puzo writes a lot about Luca Brasi.
From minute 42. It's opposite. Ring theory.
Man, it's like the dark side of the Wizard of Godfather. Or if you play the movie, but you read it, you mute it, but you read the book simultaneously.
As soon as you said dark side, I just totally started thinking about Tales from the Dark Side. So
it's funny you should bring that up. My wife and I just tried to memorize while on our short road trip the opening.
I was just trying to remember it,
and we locked it in, but then we hadn't revisited it, so it's already fuzzy.
Man lives in the sunlit world he believes to be reality. but there is a darker.
This is where it gets weird. There's some commas and semicolons.
There's a darker world.
It doesn't jump to that yet, but there exists an underworld. It's something that is not as brightly lit. That's how it ends.
The dark side minutes. That's what we should be doing. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked yet again. Go ahead, Tim. Tell us some information about Luca, the fish Brasi.
A little history. The history of Luca Brasi. Page 24. This just in. Puzo writes, he could do murder all by himself, which made discovery and conviction by the law almost impossible. So unlike other hitmen and contractors, I did air quotes, contractors, who would work in crews because they tend to be more effective, he worked alone, which means no one could really rat him out.
Yeah, when you first said that, I was like, well, can't anyone, especially when you have guns involved, can't anyone be a murderer by themselves? But I guess you have to dispose of the body and clean up afterwards. I mean, we apparently learned he beheaded a horse and managed to sneak into Waltz's house and put it in his bed without him even waking up or anything.
I know.
So he's good. He is good at what he does.
Luca Brasi definitely made Waltz look ridiculous.
And, a man in his position, it's not good.
Page 25. Luca Brasi's reputation for violence was awesome, and his devotion to Don Corleone legendary.
Nice.
As we saw in the wedding scene, too.
He pledged his loyalty to his daughter's purse.
Yeah.
Small bills gauge.
I know. I think Paulie had a greater pledge to that purse.
Oh, Paulie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Luca Brasi did not fear the police. He did not fear society. He did not fear God.
Whoa.
He did not fear hell. He did not fear or love his fellow man. But, this is like Tales from the Dark Side, but he had he had chosen to fear and love Don Corleone.
Weird.
Yeah.
Do they say why? What happened that inspires such devotion in this thuggish man?
No, I don't think they even really went into the background of how Luca came into the Don's world.
Yeah. That sounds like a prequel movie right there.
Yeah. Let's see. He carried a gun with a special license
to kill.
Alex, how much do you think Luca Brasi's gun license cost him?
Well, I can give you my answer now.
Give it to me.
Nothing.
What do you mean?
My offer is nothing.
Oh, I see. Some people have to play these little games, right? Come on. Take a guess. How much did this gun license? Puzo took the time to write it. I feel like we should take the time to guess. So this is in 1945.
Can you just say what year he got the license?
No. But I don't know, within the last 5-10 years.
Frankly, I'm surprised he even got a license.
Well, the license comes with more benefits than just being able to carry a gun.
I'm going to say 1941. In the spirit of patriotism.
$19.41. Is that what you're saying? Because it's 19.
Oh, I was thinking about what year it did. I was thinking what year.
Oh, you were guessing the year first.
Yeah. Oh,
I got it.
Okay. Oh, and what the price?
You can get a gun license for just $19.41.
Okay, then I'll say $19.38.
Oh, because you don't want to go over? Who am I? What's his face? Who's the Price is Right guy?
Bob Barker.
And who am I? Bob Barker?
Or are you talking about Drew Carey?
Oh, I was
He's the
talking
new-
Bob Barker.
Yeah.
Because he hosted Price is Right in the 40s.
Yeah, that's true. When he was in his early 50s, then he was in his prime back then. So I'm going to say $19.38.
You are way off.
Whoa.
And way under. Way under.
This is $1945?
Yes.
Wow. I give up how much?
Well, there's a special privilege
Uh-huh.
for holding this special gun license.
Okay.
Let me read from the book, Alex. Page 109, Puzo writes, Luca always carried a gun. He had a license to carry a gun, probably the most expensive gun license ever issued any place, any time.
Whoa, it was gold.
Yeah. He had to put a bulletproof vest just around the gun license. It had cost a total of $10,000.
What?
You heard me. I'll say it again. $10,000. But it would keep him out of jail if he was frisked by the cops.
So, but what is it? Do they give any details? Like, what does it say, Ellen? What, can anyone get this license?
He doesn't go into it, but there is a link to a
link that you can.
There's a link to New York City, to the ATF office. No.
Yeah.
The only thing it says left is as a top executive operating official of the family, he rated the license. Rated the license. What does that mean?
Meaning, like he was important enough to. Like,
Oh, that's what that
like
means.
Fredo wouldn't rate one because
Got it.
he doesn't really need one.
Okay.
But because Luca, given his line of work.
And just something else. But tonight, just in case he could finish off the job, he wanted a quote safe gun, one that could not possibly be traced.
So,
And we'll get into that stuff
Yeah.
later. But that's the bit about the gun. $10,000.
but that seems like cheap to be able to get away with murder.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, $10,000 in the 40s is a lot of money.
yeah.
But
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
Anyway, we'll get into that.
What I
later
don't
on.
get is how it works. So if
That's what I was wondering.
does every single New York City police officer, detective know if they see this license? Oh, this is we have to look the other way. How is that communicated to everyone?
Yeah, it's like
It's just
it's like
certain
a
people?
special black label gun license. Where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, sorry, Mr. Brazzi.
Yeah, and it's just not shared. It's not public
Yeah.
knowledge. But do the tens of thousands of police officers also all know this?
So I feel like that's the first thing when you in the police academy, in Police Academy 3, they show like if you ever catch a guy with this permit, you gotta let him go.
Yeah.
To get out of jail free. Luca Brazzi jumping out of the little bird cage like on the Monopoly. Wow, that's
And there's no information if there's a renewal fee. Is that a yearly cost?
yeah. Is there like a written or a like a driver's ed test where you have to
To show good gun control.
to show cause?
To show cause.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Can you imagine how much money the guy makes who's issuing those licenses?
You think he just wets his beak with each one? Well, I assume that goes to pay off judges and
No, those-
senators and all the people down the trough.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So the licensor isn't the only one.
is it
making money.
transferable? You think? When
Boy,
Luca
I
meets
mean,
his end,
does it have his name on it? I don't know. It must have his name. It's a license. It's a document of the New York City Police Department, I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Maybe
it's
it's
just
sort of a black market.
so if he loses it, someone else finds it. They're like, awesome!
Don Corleone.
I lost my cat.
He would go to Hagen for that.
Yeah. Don Hagen, what do I do?
Who would be the worst person to get a hold of that license?
So we just assume he's like dumb, right? But he must be smart because he killed the horse. You can't be dumb and kill a horse.
I do have more about the intelligence of Luca Brazzi.
Oh, okay.
But you're going to have to wait till next minute.
Oh, that's a teaser.
And I'm going to give you the same IQ test that the Don gave him. And we're going to see how you match up to Luca Brazzi.
Are you smarter than Luca Brazzi? Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah. What you got?
Luca's room. Well, I have some stuff, but this is, of course, this is one of the best Christmas movies out there. While Luca's getting ready, we hear Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas,
Oh, yeah.
which is the American Film Institute rated that song the 76th greatest song to be used in a movie. It was used in a movie originally called Meet Me in St. Louis back in like 1942 or something.
Is this rating current or is this back then?
No, this is now. Like the 21st century.
So
or
it's
whatever.
the 76th best
Out of all the songs
film used in a movie.
out of all the songs that have ever appeared in a movie, it's the 76th best.
That
one.
sounds great, but 76 is not that high. I guess when you consider all the songs that have been in movies, I guess it's
We'll figure also back in the day, the musicals used to be much more popular.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, a lot more competition.
Yeah. So anyway,
Interesting. Do you know what was number one?
no, I should have looked that up. I
Okay,
should have
write
looked
it
at
down.
what was. Oh yeah.
Or we asked and we're
I should have looked on what was on either side of it.
Yeah,
See if we
yeah.
know what the songs are. Because certainly that song, I bet we don't even know a lot of the songs, but
I
that
don't
one is
know.
because it's a Christmas
Well, do you
song.
want to take a guess right now what number one is before you look it up in the bonus content?
I'm going to say it's probably the Addams Family rap that MC Hammer did in Do What They Want to Do, Say What They Want to Say.
Addams Family. I disagree. I think you're right. It's top 10, but not number one.
Ooh, what do you think is number one?
I'm going to say something like We Are the Champions.
That wasn't done specifically for a movie, though.
Oh, that's
what
the
done
category?
specifically for a
Oh,
movie.
boy. Gosh, I don't even know songs that were done specifically. Pop songs with lyrics.
Well, you
that
think
were
like
done.
Wizard of Oz. That has like 6 songs in it that you know.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Okay. It really wouldn't probably need to be a musical then.
Yeah, or it could like the other. But seriously, I was going to say that As Time Goes By from Casablanca. Old movie people love Casablanca.
Yeah.
So, I'll play it again, Sam.
Is that from Casablanca?
That's from Casablanca, yeah.
Is that from Casablanca?
Yeah, it's totally from Casablanca. Okay, so what am I writing down? Oh, yeah, look up the number one AFI thing. So we'll
Did Humphrey Bogart say play it again, Sam?
he's frequently impersonated that way, but he doesn't actually say that in the movie.
Who says it in the movie?
He says a line.
Ago.
No one says that line in the
Oh.
movie. They say, play that. He says, play that song. You played it for her. You can play it for me.
Right.
That was terrible.
That's pretty good. No, I got it.
Okay.
I knew it was Humphrey
No, but it's
Bogart.
not like a Jack Kennedy or something.
I don't think I would have known that was Humphrey Bogart if we
Out of
had not been
context.
talking about
Okay.
it. But I originally thought you were doing Lauren Bacall because she kind of has a
Oh, yeah.
kind of a raspy. Like, play it again, Sam. Yeah, see?
Yeah,
You played it for him. Now you can play it for me.
now you're getting into like Edward G. Robinson, no relation.
Yeah, you're gonna play that song again, Sam, and you're gonna like it.
All right, so AFI, we will just bring that up in the Patreon, the bonus content at the end.
We asked. We're
going to answer.
Cool.
Okay. I totally lost my notes. Hold on a second.
I've got some more stuff too for 42.
Okay, what you got?
You want me to? Should we get into the Fredo portion of the?
Yeah, that's all
minute?
I got. That's all I got for Luca, I think. There's more stuff with Luca later on. Where you should
Yeah, I've got some more,
Yes,
too,
let's talk
about
about
Luca.
Fredo, our old favorite.
Fredo, limousine driver, Uber driver.
Pick someone up at the airport. Is this the only scene where the Don and Fredo interact?
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about that.
I think it is.
Well, no, there's the scene, if you can count it, where Fredo goes to the hospital and saves his life by pushing the hospital bed around and hiding the Godfather from the assassins.
Fredo doesn't do that.
Who does that?
Michael does that with.
Oh, that wasn't Fredo. Gotcha. It's just funny, imagine Fredo doing that. Nurse, come on, help me.
For crying out loud.
You don't unplug an IV like that. Papa. So Fredo.
Yeah. So I think this is the only
I think
scene
you're
of
right.
them
I never
together.
thought about that.
Well, because the Don gets shot and he's in the hospital bed, and I think maybe the only scene is where he goes like, I'm going to get in the casino business." That's the only line I can think of, maybe where they're talking to the Don. But I don't know if he's in that.
And at the end of Godfather 2, it's a flashback of them talking about Pop. He's like, "I'm real proud of you, Mikey." And like,
yeah,
but
that's
then
true.
they're talking
Yeah.
about that, but you don't see the Don. Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
And so the Godfather tells Fredo to bring the car around. Is that what he says? The
yeah,
line?
something like that. Or he's just tell Paulie to bring their car around, or something like that.
That's right. He's like, Paulie ain't here. Paulie called in sick. I'll bring it around.
He's a good kid, Pop. Of course, Fredo vouches for him right before he betrays.
I know. Like,
I stake my reputation on it.
I know, 30 seconds before. He's a good kid. You can trust him. Oh, and that's why later, or at least in the Canola Countdown, our Don Corleone says, I thought Fredo was a good kid, but it turned out he was a stupid kid. He was remembering the line that Fredo had told him. And so I'm wondering, is this the incident that Fredo later refers to when he's complaining, saying, pick someone up, drive this guy around?
It really still
it was this.
He doesn't seem to mind it in this.
Well, because it's Pop. He can't show his anger or disappointment.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just suppressing it.
Or maybe like after the incident happens, like he associates that with such a bad memory of driving someone that it's like, oh, like every time someone says, oh, can you pick him up? He was like, flashback. No.
You guys got me in enough trouble. No.
Like all these lines from his whole career.
Yeah.
I'm real proud of you, Mikey. No.
So maybe this is one of the points that he's referring back to.
Yeah.
Picking someone up. But he's probably picked many people up from the airport and driven a lot of people around.
He's complaining about it.
So another question I have is,
Yes.
so clearly within this family hierarchy, within this mafia, within this mafia thing,
The so-called
there are
Sicilian
different
thing.
There's a hierarchy of jobs. Where do you feel like filling in for Paulie, the sick guy, is? Like where in...
Oh, it's got to be pretty low.
Is that pretty low? But Paulie's not a made man at this point.
I don't
He's
think
just
so.
a soldier,
Yeah.
but he's working his way toward being.
Yeah, he
made.
seems very young.
Yeah,
He strikes me as like Clemens's like sidekick or something, like
Yeah.
his errand boy.
a soldier
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think,
Like his errand boy. What is that?
Johnny Ola?
Johnny.
But he is doing it for the Don, so there's
Yeah,
a little
it is.
more prestige in that.
Yeah.
And it's his father.
It's like being the president's sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little more prestige in that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He's driving his father around. He's
Right.
pulling
But
his
it's
father.
not like Tom Hagen's driving him right. You know what I mean?
It's
like
true.
It's a clear sign that you're not that important if you're just strictly driving the car.
Oh, I just realized this. Why doesn't Don Corleone know that Paulie isn't there? Did Paulie drive both of them there and then he called in sick after driving them there?
Maybe someone else had the earlier shift.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they may have been there for a few hours.
And plus, in the beginning, he was there with Sonny and Tom Hagen and the whole gang.
Yeah.
So maybe like they came in together. And It's so funny. Like I imagine they all live in that house, but I guess they probably have their own houses that they all live in.
Yeah,
They'll carpool.
Tessio's guys are in Brooklyn. Yeah, they'll carve. You have to go to all the boroughs. Yeah. It takes them 3 hours to get and pick everybody up.
They're driving across the George Washington Bridge. Just, they totally turn around. Like, every day we do this.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Every time Carlo's got to sit in the shotgun seat.
I love Carlo. I thought one thing I thought you were going to mention, because I know you and I are both fans of dubbed dialogue, and this thing seems totally dubbed in.
Oh yeah,
the Don's part and Fredo's part. So anyway, I know we love when like the sound quality changes.
It does get a little louder. And
Yeah.
it's a little clearer. You can tell.
I think Marlon Brando. I'll have to confirm this, but I feel like he had a bunch of stuff that was dubbed because he's famously like mumble mouth. So like they had to, especially when he's like speaking Italian the next second.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So.
Well, and didn't we talk about in a previous minute that maybe some of his lines were overdubbed by other people, like Tessio? Right?
That's right, yeah.
Tessio was looking for extra work.
So it's not even Abe Vigoda, it's Tessio.
Abe Vigoda imitating Tessio, imitating Marlon Brando, imitating Don Corleone.
Whoa, boy, those are like levels.
Yeah. He gets like time and a half for that because of the extra levels.
Yeah. For old time's sake.
No, he would actually get double time because time and a half he's getting already just for doing extra lines.
Oh, I didn't know there'd be math.
So
Does it get more or less than it costs for a license to unlimited murders?
I don't know. Talk to
Is it
Barzini.
like a punch card where like every murder you do, like they punch and you're like, 10, and then you're done. You got to get a new license or something.
So
like
right onto Luca's license.
Yeah, like, like a little hole puncher, like a bullet shaped or a gun shaped
stamp. Well, I'd like to think that if you spend $10,000 on a gun license, a permit, that it's a little better quality cardstock than the cheap little punch cards you get.
At least be laminated.
Shop. Yeah, laminated.
Yeah. Laminated. So then we come back to Luca again.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple more questions about the driving around.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Alex, our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you.
Me? Oh, that's nice.
Would you want someone driving you around all the time?
Yes, I would love it.
Why?
Because it's, frees me to do other things. I don't have to, and also I like, I lived in New York City most of my life. Mm-hmm. I really only started driving consistently in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. So basically I have like the confidence, I have like the skills of like a 16-year-old, but without the endless confidence of like, I'm going to live forever. You know what I mean? I'm like very aware that like I'm driving a, 500-pound automobile at 70 miles an hour down the, Gotcha. You would not like it? You would not like having a driver?
Well, no, okay. I think I would.
Although, no, you know what? I'm going to take it back.
Why?
Because the social awkwardness of having, but if
that's why I'm asking you, because I know it's kind of odd just to have someone like the conversation we had about someone shining your shoes.
But if it's someone driving you like every day, then you just fall into the routine. Like either I would enjoy talking to the person, or that he would know I just want to sit there and
Would you talk to the person
if I liked them? Well, so, okay. If
it's day one, you get into your car. Hi, Mr.
I would
Robinson,
have to talk
I'm
to
your
them
driver.
First. Every time I get into an Uber or a Lyft, I feel like I have to talk to someone.
But that's someone you will probably never see again. Yeah. This person you're going to see every day. Do you set the precedent right away that you want to be left alone?
Well, I would, yes. Well, for the job interview, I assume I have some say. I would talk to the person and see how interesting they were, and if they were either quiet and dumb, or they were smart and talkative, funny and talkative. Either of those combinations is good.
Can you tell me if I make a right here? You never get to where you're going.
Or maybe I went too far on the dumb scale. Like, dial it back a little bit.
Because then they're talking to you all the time.
Don't worry, I put it on cruise control.
But you don't want them too smart and witty? Like they're trying to impress you?
But I would also say, like, hey, listen, I don't want to have to talk to you. No offense or anything, but I got things I got to think about.
Would you say that in the interview?
Yeah, that would be part of the thing.
Okay.
I would say, like, so you're okay just sitting and like putting on music and just sitting.
Well, I really need the job, so yeah, I'm okay with that. Would that be acceptable?
Yeah, but if he like started being talkative, I'm like,
would you just close?
I gotta have someone fire this guy.
Would you close the divider like they do in Spinal Tap while he's talking?
Oh, do I have a divider?
Sure.
That makes it
You're wealthy enough to have a driver.
That makes it more awkward for me.
What do you mean having
the divider? Really? Well, because that makes it seem that is much more like it's like sitting on the throne for the shoe shine guy. You know what? I don't like you. I find you so boring, and sometimes I have to put a layer of bulletproof glass between us. That's how little I want to interact with you. Like if I'm just sitting in the back seat like a cab or something, that's different because then like I can talk to him if I need to, or
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
But,
so what about
you?
If
you close the glass, the bulletproof shield in between you and your driver, the guy wants to talk so much he would just turn on the intercom. He's like, "Hey, I noticed you put the divider up, but there's some things I want to talk to you about while we're driving. You got some time?"
Yeah.
Or actually, it's all. Put the divider up. Are you okay? It's all even more annoying.
Well, I see what else I would have. I'll say, yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind? I would just turn the volume down. Muffled.
He keeps trying to find ways to bypass your audio
He's like texting
blockers.
me on the.
He patches into your headphones with a Bluetooth. Hey, I have a wireless.
Then she just climbs in the back seat.
Hey, if you don't mind, I hired a substitute driver so I can ride in the back
he subcontracted me. So you would want a driver or would not want a driver?
I think I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy driving, but it's more just I'm just trying to get where I go.
So I just mentioned that I was in Europe. I did mention that, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And
you didn't tell us where in Europe.
We started off in Madrid, and then we went to Paulie.
Oh.
We drove across country, and I did have a driver. My lovely wife drove.
Isn't there water in between them?
No. Well, I mean, it's probably some rivers or something, but not like the ocean or anything.
I thought you had one of those, what do they call those, amphibious rental cars?
Like a hovercraft.
Pontoons, hovercraft. Land speeder.
So the flight from Paris to Charlotte, North Carolina was 9 hours.
Okay.
And then the flight I had about a 3-hour layover in Charlotte. And then the flight from Charlotte to Portland is like 6 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So basically, by the time I land, it's 11. By the time I'm getting home in the car, it's 11:30, which is 8 a.m. French time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So basically, I've been like up for 24 hours,
boy.
other than like an hour or two of sleeping.
Who's your travel agent, Freddie?
So I get in the lift, and immediately the guy starts asking, like, "So,
Is it in France?
no,
on
in
the way
Portland.
back.
Yeah,
Got
I'm
it,
just
got
so exhausted, and then the guy's like
Oh.
making like the dumbest small talk possible,
my
like
gosh.
about the weather and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell him like, "Oh yeah, I've had a really long flight." Like, I try to imply like, "Okay," like, and then he just keeps asking me like,
Did you
"Oh, do
give
you
him
have
a-
kids? How long?" You know.
I'll be honest with our listeners. Did you give him a low rating?
You know, I thought about it, but I always.
You're
That's-
like a 5-star guy no matter what?
Well, if they're really terrible, I will. But you know,
But have
people
you?
are trying to earn a living, and I don't want just because I'm like antisocial. I don't want.
Yeah,
There will be times where I will say, you know, that you can leave comments,
Yeah.
and they don't know who left the comments. I will sometimes say, "Oh, I appreciate that the driver didn't feel the need to talk," and I say that so that when they see that, they'll be like, "Oh, people don't necessarily like being talked to."
But don't only the people who already are not talkers see that comment? Or does every Lyft and Uber driver see everyone
no,
else's?
just the people who.
So you're not getting that message to the people who need to hear it.
Well, maybe someone had just started and they're like, I don't know, should I talk to people or should I not talk to people? And then when they see that review, they're like, oh, this is popular that I didn't
Oh,
talk to
okay,
people.
yeah.
I'm clearly a dud.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We should make Uber and Lyft shirts that say, please don't talk to me.
well, there should be like a you know, like when you book the car, it should be like a thing. Like, do you want the driver to talk to you? You know,
That's
do you
a
want
great
do you want
idea.
just polite introductions? Do you want in-depth conversation?
Yeah.
Do you just want total
Wow.
silence?
You'd probably be waiting longer for that niche vehicle, but it might be
Yeah.
worth it, especially if you're going on a long trip.
Did you know that Lyft started off, their whole thing was that they were the friendly version of Uber? It was supposed to be like, oh, you're sharing a ride with a friend of yours.
Really?
Like, and that was the whole thing. We're not like Uber all like, you know, stuck up and all that stuff. And as of time has gone on, it's just become more and more like a regular thing. But there's still some old school Lyft drivers who get mad when I sit in the back seat as opposed to sitting up in the front seat with the person.
And what do they say to you?
The guy's like, hey, do you want to sit up in the front? I'm like, no, I'm good back here. And they're like, "You sure? Like getting all like, you know, like, you know.
The guy pulls over. You know, Lyft was founded on the basis of friendship.
Turns around. Yeah. So anyway, that's
The guy pulls over. Is like, you know what? I'm going to call you an Uber.
just leaves you on the side of the road.
Well, speaking of Uber and Lyft, I think
Yes.
Fredo, if he had been more smart, he had plenty of opportunities to create Uber and Lyft. He clearly didn't like driving people around.
Yeah.
And he's sent to do that all the time.
Who do you think?
He's like, I need to get other people doing the driving around. I need to come with some technology.
yeah, that's kind of proves that he wasn't smart.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Well, maybe it's just bad timing.
Yeah.
Too, because
Fucked up the timing.
Yes, I don't even think handheld phones were around back then.
It's true. They had to use the old fashioned phones where you use one thing go to your ear, one thing that you speak to a big box mounted on the wall.
And when you call
Margaret, get me Uber.
well, it'd be like you'd say Lyft 53291,
Number, please.
patching you through. I have one more question about this driving around scene.
Okay, yes. It's all right.
So Fredo says, "Oh, Paulie's a good kid. He called in sick." Mm-hmm. How does that work in the mafia? Calling in sick. Do they get sick days? They get vacation days? Is it tracked?
I don't think it's that formalized where they're like keeping records of like, you know, because what are they going to pay taxes? You know,
That's true.
but I feel like it's almost like more of a, if you play your cards right, you could probably you could probably miss more days if you did it smart as opposed to like, you know, clumping them all together or something.
Give me a scenario.
like when I was in college, when I went to SUNY Brockport for a year, the teacher said something like, "You can if you miss more than three classes, like you'll fail or you'll get a bad mark or whatever." So I interpret that as to mean I can miss 3 classes without being penalized.
Yeah.
So I put a chart in my notebook indicating how many times I cut each class to make sure that I A, didn't overdo it, and B, made sure I got the maximum number of cut days.
Yeah.
So that's what you should like, something where you like think ahead as opposed to just like, I'm just
waiting until you're really sick and need to be out.
Yeah, or like doing it on an important date. You just got to be smart. You just got to don't do it on important days. Although this day clearly wasn't that important.
Yeah.
So, but
so you don't think they track it? They track leaves of absence and
no, I think it's more of a gut thing.
He's a good kid. He's on sabbatical right now, Pop.
He's a personal day or a sick day. Yeah, so that's what I think. Okay. But I don't think there's any formal.
I was just wondering. I work for a school district, and so it's all unions. The unions call the shots.
Well, unions, they're important. They're a good thing to have.
Yeah.
But drugs are the future.
Yeah, I think you're right. Anything else about this minute, Alex?
Well, I wanted to talk about Luca walking down that cool Art Deco hallway.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
All the Luca scenes, his hotel room, and the scene where he meets the Tatalias were filmed at the Hotel Edison in New York City, 47th Street and Broadway. And it got me thinking, I found a website that lists all the New York City locations.
Oh, very cool.
Where they film Godfather stuff. And I was like, you and I should do a road trip. We don't drive all the way there. We hire a Lyft driver. He takes us all the way, drives us all the way to New York. And then we like try to see how many of the places we could go to.
That is a great
And then we
idea.
go to for the second one, we go to Lake Tahoe and try to find the compound.
I am
everything.
in.
Let's
that
do it.
is fantastic. That is great. Maybe we can even videotape it handheld, just guerrilla style.
Oh, yeah, totally. Put
and
on
release
YouTube
it
or whatever.
Bonus material.
Yeah, totally.
Bonus material. We could talk to Barzini.
You talk to Barzini?
That sounds like a lot of fun. I am in.
Yeah.
I read an article in the Times maybe about a year ago, and it reviewed and had pictures of all the remaining old elevators in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them are in the outer boroughs. Just that they need an elevator operator with the levers and stuff.
Yeah.
It is really cool looking.
That is cool.
Anything else about the building, the Art Deco style?
No, nothing particular.
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
Yeah, Art Deco.
Do you think that still looks like that now, or has that been?
That's a good question.
And during filming, did it look like that, or did they have to?
I think that part was real. I think the scene where they meet with the Turk, I think they did some set dressing to make it look different, but that hallway seems like a real. I don't know why they would film there if they weren't going to use the real location stuff. But, I'm going to look that up during the break, and I will we ask and we will answer. All right. Art Deco. All right. So
do we have any, do we want to tease our listeners with some bonus content seeds?
Do you have any ideas?
I do have some ideas. I know maybe we joked about.
Well, first of all, we got headlines.
Got headlines. Always got headlines. Great headlines. I could think of some good ones for this. And maybe some crossing of dialogue.
You mean like say lines as other characters?
Yeah. Okay. Or that, but also mixing lines. I'll give you one example that I had written down. Kay, never ask me about my champagne cocktails.
Oh, right.
That kind of thing.
Totally. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, let's use that as our jumping off point.
All right. You want to rate the minute, Alex?
Oh, right. Well, it is the only scene where the Don and Fredo interact, but it's not really, Paulie's a good kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 3 stars.
I'll give it 3. I think that's fair. I think the overdubbed audio bumps it up from 2 to 3. and you see that so the Marlon Brando or obviously dubbed dialogue bumps it up to all right, sounds good. Fredo vouching for Paulie. That's kind of cool.
In
the scheme of things.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So
stick around for the bonus content and feel free to join us on Facebook. We are at Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse Nightclub.
You know what? I had a funny thing about that. I was on the Facebook and someone had petitioned to join the nightclub.
Yeah.
And the person didn't answer the questions that they have to answer in order to get through.
I saw that.
And so sometimes when they go, I will look. It'll say this person is a member of like 3 other groups, and if you click on it, you'll see what groups they're a member of. And this one person who tried to join, they were a member of like 4 different like Disney and Mickey Mouse fan club pages. So that's how they found it, is by Googling where suggested to them Mickey Mouse.
So you think it was a real person, not a phony account?
No, I think it was a real person.
But they just didn't understand.
I'm sure they just saw Mickey Mouse Club and like, okay, they
that
joined
is
up
so
for it. I almost let them through just to see.
Oh, totally, yeah. Makes you wonder how many other people misinterpret what this nightclub is all about.
Yeah, it's where you don't get stepped over.
This ain't your grandfather's nightclub.
All right, so we'll be sticking around for the bonus content, and until then, leave the gun, take the cannoli.